I already did a long video explaining almost all of them, but I just want to do a shorter video explaining a couple at a time. So if you look at questions 1 through 4, all of these should be very easy. And why is that? Because they're all in slope-intercept form. They all are in y equals mx plus b. So how do we graph number 1? Well, number 1, it crosses the y-axis at 3. The b value is 3, and your slope is -1/2. So let's go to the y-axis. Here's the y-axis. Let's go to the b value of 3. 1, 2, 3. Put a dot right there, guys. Now from that point, you're going to rise and run according to your slope, right? You know that your line's going to cross, maybe, it's going to cross through that point, but it might cross kind of steep going up, maybe really steep going up, maybe really steep going down. You look at your steepness through your slope, which is -1/2, which means you're going to go down 1 because it's negative and run 2. And you always run to the right when you're graphing lines, or when you're looking at lines, you always go from left to right. So down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2 would give you that coordinate. Let's put that dot right there. And that is your line, and you're done. Now, let's say you wanted to do your line a little bit longer, you wanted to extend it, you could keep using the slope pattern to extend it further. So go down 1 over 2 and continue to go down 1 over 2 to get your dot over here, if you want. You don't have to. And you could even use the slope pattern backwards. You could go over 2, up 1 this way, over 2, up 1 this way, over 2, up 1 this way. So you could extend your line as far as you want, going from one side of the graph that they give you to the other side. Any questions? Easy peasy, right? Let's do one more of these easy ones. Let's go to number 4. What's the m value here? The b value is -1. Let me put it in red. B value is -1. And what's the m value? The m value is 3, or 3 over 1, correct? So we always begin with our b value, the y-intercept. So you go to your y-axis. It's going to cross this y-axis, not at 2, not at 3, not at 2, not at 1. It's going to cross at -1. So let's all put a dot at -1. Okay. Now from this point, are we going to rise, or are we going to negative rise, go down? We're going to rise. Okay, so we're going up. How many units do I go up?
3.
Up 1, 2, 3, and it's a fraction over what?
1.
Over 1. So if you're thinking, wait, it's not a fraction, it's just 3. Well, you could put 3 over 1. That way you could clearly see that you're going up 1, 2, 3, and then over 1, and you put that dot right there. So 3 over 1 is right here. And you could continue to go up 3 over 1. That would take you off the graph. Or you could go backwards with that pattern to extend it in the opposite direction, right? Instead of up 3 over 1, go backwards, over 1, down 3, over 1, down 3. So you can make your line as long as you want. You don't have to, though. You could just keep your line right there. And we're done. So the first 4 are cake because they're already in slope-intercept form. The next set, 5 through 8, those are a little bit more challenging because they are not in slope-intercept form. Check it out, number 5. Or should we just go for the most challenging one? Yeah, let's go for the most challenging one. Number 8. We need to get y by itself. Y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 2. Let me rewrite my equation. 3y equals 6x minus 3. My final step will be to do what? Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. Divide everything by 3. I'll have my final slope-intercept form equation. Y equals slope 2x minus 1 as my b value. And of course that slope, since we're graphing, it's good to leave it as a fraction, so let's put it over 1. So ladies and gentlemen, this is my slope-intercept form equation. That's as hard as it gets. Let's graph it now. You start with your b value. The b value is -1, which means that it crosses the y-axis at -1. And from this point, do I go up or do I go down? Up, because my slope is positive. So go up 1, 2, go over 1. You always run to the right and put a dot right here. And you continue to go up 2 over 1 if you want. And you could even go backwards with that pattern to extend it in the other direction. Anyways, here's my line. And that's it, we're done. Just for funsies here, remember that a line is really composed of an infinite amount of points, an infinite amount of coordinates. This line actually represents the infinite amount of answers that exist to the original equation. What is an answer? It's an answer that'll make it a true statement. So, for example, this coordinate, what is this coordinate right here, guys, just for fun? That's a 1, 1, right? If I plug in the coordinate 1, 1, if I plug in 1 for x and 1 for y into my original equation, a 1 right here and a 1 right there, it'll work. It'll be a true statement, right? 6 times 1 is 6. 6 take away 1 is 5. Over here, 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. Or 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. So 5 equals 5. It's a true statement. Any coordinate on this line will give you a true statement because this line really does represent the infinite amount of answers that exist to an equation. Anyway, that's as hard as it gets. Let's go to some that are not so hard, but people get confused. Like, for example, number 10, people get confused. Why is that? Because it's missing a b value. People are like, hey, there's no b. What do I do? What do I do? There is a b. It's just 0, right? Okay, so if you need to, go ahead and put the plus 0. But that's the b value. And that tells you that it crosses the y-axis at 0. It's an actual location. It's right there. Now, from that point, what do? Do I go up or do I go down? Down. Why down? Because it's negative. We're going down 3 because it's negative 3 and it's over 1, and you always run to the right. So we're going to go down 1, 2, 3 over 1, put a dot right there, and connect your dots and you're done. If you wanted to extend it backwards, instead of going down 3 over 1, go backwards, over 1, up 3, over 1, up 3, put a dot right there. So you could extend any line as long as you follow your pattern of slope. Okay? Anyway, so some people get confused because the b value is missing. Some people get confused because the b value and it looks like the m value is missing, but it's not missing. What's the m value right here?
1.
It's 1, right? So your m is really a 1, and if you want it in the form of a fraction, you put it over 1. And the b value is not there, which means that it's 0. So this one crosses at 0, and what do? I go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So if you draw your line and you're like, man, my line's too short, go ahead and continue with that pattern of up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and keep making dots until you're satisfied with the length of your line. You could use that pattern backwards to extend it in this direction. But the bottom line is, we're done. So some people get confused when the b value is missing. Some people get confused when they don't see the m value right there as a fraction. And some people really get confused with these when you have y equals a number or when you have x equals a number. Okay? So, you know what? Maybe we should do a little bit of notes somewhere. Let's say when you have y equals a number, it's going to be a horizontal line. Horizontal. When you have x equals a number, it's going to be a vertical line. So I'm about to explain why this is so, all right? So hopefully you guys jotted that down. Y equals a number, it's going to be a horizontal line going through that value on that y-axis. X equals a number is going to be a vertical line going through the x value, through that x-axis value. So let me show you. On number 12, using these notes, number 12 says y equals 2. You go to the y-axis. Here's the y-axis. You go to the y value of 2. You put a dot right there. And then you draw a line through it. And it's going to be a horizontal line right through it. So you just draw a line right through it. And you're done. Okay? Now, that's the shortcut. But let me give you a true understanding of this. This says y equals 2. So when you think of coordinates, the only thing that this equation cares about are that your y values are the value of 2. So look, watch. Give me any coordinate you want that has the y value of 2. 1, 2. Or maybe negative 2, 2. Or 3, 2. Whatever you want, right? As long as your y value is 2, that'll satisfy this equation. So where is the coordinate 1, 2? 1, 2 is right here. Where's negative 2, 2? It's right here. Where's 3, 2? It's over here. It's going to land on that perfectly flat line. Okay? So that's the explanation why it's a horizontal line, because all it cares about is that the y values of your coordinate are 2, which will give you a horizontal line with all the y values of 2. Does that make sense? So if I were to tell you graph y equals -1, well, the shortcut is just this. Go to -1 on the y and draw a horizontal line right through it. Or what if they told you graph y equals -3? Okay, you go to -3 on the y, put a dot right there, and then you just do a horizontal line going right through it. Really easy. Understand? Okay, now what if it's x? X, it says vertical. X is vertical. So you're not going to be going to the x-axis or to the y-axis. You're going to be going to the x-axis and drawing a vertical line through it. Check out number 13 down here. X equals 2. So it's really easy to graph. Go to your x-axis. Here it says x right here. And then you go to the value of 2. You're going to put a dot right there. Just put a dot at the x value of 2, and you're going to draw a vertical line through it, up and down. And you're done. But like, what if somebody says, well, why? Why is it a vertical line? This is where you would say, well, because coordinates are x and y values, and the only thing that this equation cares about is that your x values are 2. So if you put a bunch of 2's on the x's, it doesn't matter what you put for y's, because there's no y's in the equation, so you can put whatever you want for y's. So you could put like 0, you could put -1, you could put +2, whatever you want. And when you start graphing these coordinates, 2, 0 is right there. 2, -1 is right there. 2, 2 is right there. It does produce that vertical line. That's the explanation of why you draw a vertical line through the x-axis at 2. So it's really easy. Like if I told you graph x equals -3, that's going to be a vertical line crossing the x-axis at -3. Boom. Takes like 1 second to draw. Understand it? Okay, so y equals a number is a horizontal line. X equals a number is a vertical line. Keep that in mind. So you guys should be able to do number 14 just by looking at it. And the hardest type of questions that there is are like 15 and 16, because you have to do many steps to get it in y equals mx plus b form. So let's do number 16. What's the first thing I should do? Add 2. That's right. Get rid of that -2 by adding 2 and adding 2. Let's rewrite what we have. We have a -4y equals -3x plus 12. And my final step will be to divide by -4, divide by -4, divide by -4. So this is where we get our final slope-intercept form equation. Y equals, because the 4 is canceled out, a -3 divided by a -4 is a +3 over 4, and it still has the x, and your b value will be -3. Are you with me? So this is your slope-intercept form equation. After you have it in slope-intercept form, now you could actually graph it. The b value is at -3, so it crosses at -3. From that point, you rise and you run according to your slope. Rise 3, run 4. Rise 1, 2, 3, run 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'd be your next coordinate right on the edge. You just connect your dots and you're done. That came out kind of crooked, sorry. Well, you get the idea. And that's about it. So this worksheet is practice. I didn't explain all of them on this video, but I did provide a PDF copy of the answers on Edmodo, and also there's some on the back wall. You could take a picture of it if you'd like, so you could check your work as you go. We need to know how to graph perfectly with y equals mx plus b in order to be able to pass this class, in order to be able to pass the next section that we're doing tomorrow.